Hello friends, we are learning the chapter number 15, Biodiversity and its Conservation. And today we will learn about the new concept of this chapter and which will be about the biodiversity conservation. So in last lecture we had completed the very important question, which was causes means reasons of the biodiversity losses. And you know that the four evil quadrants were there. First one was habitat loss and fragmentation, second one was over exploitation, third one was alien species invasions, and fourth one was the co-extinctions. And now see, we are in a next or the new part or the last part of this chapter, which is about the conservation of biodiversity. So see, in this chapter we had studied the so many different concepts. First of all, we had talked about the what is biodiversity, then types or the categories of biodiversity, then how many species are there in India as well as entire world, then what are the threats to the biodiversity, and then reasons of the losing of the biodiversity. And now we will talk about the why and how to conserve the biodiversity, and with the help of which methods, means some methods of the biodiversity conservation. So we will use the same method of the easy language notes, but first thing I like to say that we will divide this question into three different type of parts. Okay, so remember there are three parts of this question. So you are now seeing the first part. Okay, see, the title is what? Title is biodiversity conservation, and the subtitle is why should we conserve biodiversity? Is it necessary to conserve biodiversity, and what will be happen if we are not going to conserve our greatest biodiversity? Okay, see, first point, understand there are so many reasons for conservation of biodiversity. It means for humans, for us, there are so many different type of reasons, okay, for conservation of biodiversity. Some reasons are obvious and some others not so obvious, okay, but whatever it is, all are equally important. It means, see, point number one, we can say that there are so many different types of reasons for conservation of biodiversity. Some are the obvious reasons and other are not so obvious, but all reasons are equally important. It means reasons are either obvious or not obvious, okay, but all having equally importance. Point number two, we can say that they can be grouped into three categories. They means what? They means the reasons, means arguments, okay. Reasons means one type of arguments. It means we will do argument, okay, argument, important arguments for the conservation of biodiversity. They can be grouped into three categories. First category is narrowly utilitarian arguments, second one is broadly utilitarian arguments, and third one is ethical issue, means ethical problem, means ethical arguments about the conservation of biodiversity. So you will remember all three. First one is what? First one is narrowly utilitarian, second one is broadly utilitarian, and third one is ethical arguments. So in first page we have main 2 points. Again we are going to revise the first page. Title is why should we conserve biodiversity? So for conservation there are so many reasons, okay. Some reasons are obvious and others are not so obvious, but all reasons are equally important. But we can be grouped these reasons into three different type of categories. First one is narrowly utilitarian arguments, second one is broadly utilitarian arguments, and third one is ethical arguments. So if now we are going to learn about the first one, which is known as the narrowly utilitarian arguments, okay. See, narrow word is important. First point, we can say that according to these arguments, it means according to narrowly utilitarian arguments, conserving biodiversity are obvious. Okay, so it is one type of obvious, it is one type of fact thing. So you will remember that according to narrowly utilitarian arguments, the conservation of biodiversity is very obvious, means fact thing. Okay, point number 2, we can say that humans are taking countless direct economic benefits from the nature. Very important, humans means we, means us. We are taking what? Countless, okay, countless direct economic benefits. See, it's all about the economy, it's all about money. Countless direct economical benefits from the nature. Okay, we will understand this sentence with some examples, that how humans are taking countless direct economic benefits from nature. See, some examples are there. First one is for food. You know that the cereals, pulses and fruits, these are the one type of example of food. Okay, so second example is about firewood. Third one is about the fiber. Fourth one is about the construction material. And fifth one is about the industrial products like tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins and perfumes, as well as some medicinal plants or some medical importance are also there. So we can say that some examples are also there in point number 2. And now see, what about the point number 3? We can say that more than 25%, underline, more than 25% of the drugs currently sold in the market worldwide are derived from the plants. It means drug means what? Drug means one type of chemical material, one type of chemical substance. Drug is equal to one type of medicine. It means currently 25%, more than 25% of the drugs are sold in the market worldwide, and these 25% of drugs are derived or obtained from the plants. So in first page we have total 3 points. First point is what? First point is about the according to narrowly utilitarian arguments, conservation of biodiversity is obvious thing, underline, it is obvious thing according to what? According to narrowly utilitarian argument. Point number 2, we can say that humans are taking countless direct economic benefits from the nature, and some benefits are also there, some examples are there. First one is for food, cereals, pulses, fruits, firewood, fibers, construction materials, industrial products like tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins and perfumes, products of the medicinal importance. Okay, so 6 examples are there, you will remember the all 6. And now see point number 3, we can say that more than 25% of the drugs currently sold in the market worldwide are derived from the plants. So 25% is the one liner question, it is MCQ. Okay, now see point number 4, we can say that 25,000 species of plants contribute to the traditional medicines used by native people around the world. It means we can say that for the formation of what? For the formation of traditional medicines, underline, for the formation of traditional medicines used by what used by the native peoples. Okay, how many? 25,000 species of plants are contributing. Okay, so point number 4 MCQ is there, 25,000 species of plants. Now see point number 5 is very important. Nobody knows how many more medicinally useful plants there are in tropical rainforest waiting to be explored. It means you know that the so many species are there in the tropical rainforest, means near equator region. Okay, but nobody knows how many more medicinally useful plants. Okay, means the plants having the importance according to the medical view there are in the tropical rainforest waiting to be explored. Point number 6, we can say that with increasing resources put into Okay, see, now we are putting resources into bioprospecting, means some investigations. Okay, bioprospecting, nations endowed with rich biodiversity can accept to reach the enormous benefits. It means, see, with increasing what, with increasing resources. So if we have some resources and we will do what, we will do the bioprospecting. Okay, what is the bioprospecting? Exploring three levels. See, three means with three: molecular level, genetic level, and species level diversity. It means if we have some resources and we are going to explore these resources in three categories like molecular diversity, genetic diversity, and species level diversity for products of the economic importance. For example, if some country having the very important type of medicinal plant, if you are going to do bioprospecting of this medicinal plant according to molecular, genetic, and species level diversity, then this country is able to get benefit of this particular plant species. It means if maximum resources are there, then nations, means countries, are also able to get the very much benefits from their biodiversity. So in this page, total 3 points are there. Point number 4, 5 and 6. We are going to revise all points. We can say that point number 4, 25,000 species of plants contribute to the underlined traditional medicines used by what? Used by native peoples around the world. Point number 5 is also important. Nobody knows how many more medicinally useful plants there are in tropical rainforest waiting to be explored. And last thing, if we talk about the bioprospecting according to the molecular, genetic, and species level diversity, then with the help of this phenomenon, with the help of this concept, the nations, means countries, are able to get the good benefits. Okay, so first concept is completed, and now we will learn this first concept or the first paragraph from your textbook. Okay, see, in your textbook we can say that the title is what? Why should we conserve biodiversity? There are many reasons. Some are obvious and others are not so obvious, but all are equally important. They can be grouped into how many? Into three categories. First one is narrowly utilitarian, second one is broadly utilitarian, third one is ethical. So we will do the arguments. So if we talk about the narrowly utilitarian arguments, according to these arguments, for conserving biodiversity are obvious. So underline obvious is the one-liner question. Humans derive countless direct economic benefits from nature: food, cereals, pulses, fruits, firewood, fiber, construction material, as well as industrial products like tannins. Underline, these all are MCQ. Tannins, lubricants, dyes, resins, and perfumes, as well as some products of medicinal importance. Now see, MCQ, more than 25% of the drugs currently sold in the market worldwide are derived from plants. And second sentence, and 25,000 underline species of plants contribute to the traditional medicines used by native people around the world. Nobody knows how many more medicinally useful plants are there in tropical rainforest waiting to be explored. So right here near equatorial region, with increasing resources put into bioprospecting process, exploring what? Exploring underline molecular, genetic, and species level diversity. See, you will remember all these three categories: molecular diversity, genetic diversity, and species level diversity for production of economic importance. Nations nations endowed with rich biodiversity can expect to reap enormous benefits. It means what? It means if the nations having higher number of species, higher number of biodiversity, then with the help of process bioprospecting, nations are able to get the more economic benefits. So these are the one type of narrowly utilitarian arguments. Now first part or the first concept of this question is completed. If we talk about the second one, see, second one is about the broadly utilitarian arguments. So point number one, according to these arguments, biodiversity plays a major role in many ecosystem services that nature provides. See, this first sentence is very important. According to broadly utilitarian arguments, biodiversity, okay, means so many species, biodiversity of a particular area plays significant role in many ecosystem services. You know that ecosystem services connected with the Robert Constanza and his colleagues, ecosystem services that nature provides. So we can say that ecosystem services are provided by nature without any cost, okay, without any fees. For example, we can say that point number two, if we talk about the Amazon forest, now it is the fast dwindling, but it is estimated that this forest, these Amazon forests are able to produce 20% of O2 in Earth's atmosphere with the help of photosynthesis. Again, I am repeating this sentence, listen carefully. Point number two, if we talk about the Amazon forest, according to one estimate, with the help of photosynthesis, with the help of process photosynthesis, Amazon forest are able to produce more than 20% of the total oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. Can we put an economical value on the service by nature? It means how it will be cost for the 20% of oxygen. For example, you can get some ideas by finding out how much your neighborhood hospital spend on a cylinder of oxygen. It means you can say that Amazon forest are giving oxygen free of charge, okay, free of cost, while if you are going in the hospital in some critical situation on the ventilator, if patients are in critical situation or on the ventilator, then oxygen cylinders are there, and you know that the what will be price of the oxygen cylinders. So these cylinders are not free in hospital, but the same product means oxygen will be given freely by the Amazon forest, okay, and maximum oxygen means the it means 20% of the all oxygen will be produced by the Amazon forest. So in this page total 3 sentences are there. Again we are going to revise these 3 points. So if we talk about the broadly utilitarian arguments, point number 1, according to these arguments, biodiversity plays a major role in many ecosystem services that nature provides. And the second one is about the example of Amazon forest. We can say that according to one estimate, with the help of photosynthesis, Amazon forest are able to produce 20% of the total oxygen in Earth's atmosphere, okay, and if we are going to take or if we are going to buy the same amount of oxygen from the hospital, then it is not free, it will be not free. Okay, now see, if we talk about the next one, the next example is about the pollination. You know that it is one type of process which is very important or which is must for the sexual type of reproduction in plants. You know that in plants, without pollination, sexual reproduction is not possible. Without sexual reproduction, fruits and seeds are not formed. It means, see, pollination, see in bracket, without this process, plants cannot give us fruits or seeds. Is another service ecosystem provide through pollinators layer like bees, bumblebees, birds and bats. Okay, see, it means pollination is one type of process which is done by pollinators, and you know that the wind is one type of pollinator, as well as what sometimes pollination is also occurred with the help of wind as well as water. But some agents, means some organisms, some animals are act as the pollinators, like bees, bumblebees, birds and bats. You know that these all animals like bees, bumblebees, birds and bats are doing pollination without any cost, without any fees. So you will underline this four name: bees, bumblebees, birds as well as bats. Now see point number 5. What will be the cost of accomplishing pollination without help from natural pollinators? We can't give the perfect answer of this question. Okay. Now see point number 6. Some other benefits that we derive from nature are as under. See, some other benefits are there. For example, the aesthetic pleasure of walking through thick woods. Okay. Then second one example is watching spring flowers in full bloom. Third one is waking up to a bulbul's song in the morning. And last, see the last sentence, point number 7. Can we put a price tag on such things? No, we can't. It is free, means natures are not taking money or any fees for this all from us. Now second part is completed, and if we understand this part from your textbook, see the first paragraph. The broadly utilitarian arguments says that biodiversity plays a major role in many ecosystem services that nature provides. The fast dwindling Amazon forest is estimated to produce through photosynthesis, underline, 20% of the total oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. Can we put an economic value on this service by nature? No, we can't. You can get some idea by finding out how much your neighborhood hospital spends on a cylinder of oxygen. Okay, it is one example. Now see second one, pollination, underline, without which plants cannot give us fruits or seed, is another service ecosystems provide through pollinator layers, underline, bees, bumblebees, birds and bats. What will be the cost of accomplishing pollination without help from natural pollinators? Okay, there are other intangible benefits like that we derive from nature, like the aesthetic pleasure of walking through thick woods, watching spring flowers in full bloom, or waking up to a bulbul's song in the morning. Can we put a price tag on such things? No, we can't, because it is free. Nature is giving all this thing free. Okay, so second part is completed, and now we will talk about the last portion. We can say that if we talk about the ethical arguments, so last type of arguments will be ethical arguments. Point number 1, see, it is connected with conserving biodiversity, relates to what we owe to billions of plants, animals and microbial species with whom we share this planet. It means we can say like this: in this planet, on our earth, so many plants as well as animals as well as microorganisms are there. Humans are not alone, means humans are not alone species found on this earth, but some other species, not a minimum but millions of plants and animals and microbial species are there. And you know that we are sharing the earth. Okay, we are sharing our planet with all this. Point number 2, now we are talking about the philosophy as well as spiritually. Okay, so point number 2, we can say that philosophically or spiritually we need to realize that every species has an interesting, means we can say that important value. So underline this point number 2, according to philosophically and or spiritually, we need to realize that every species, each and every species found on this earth, either small or large or microbial, okay, has very important value or its own significances, even if it may not be of current or any economic value to us. It means some species, like you can say ant, so there is no direct economical connection between humans and ant. If we talk about the dogs, so there is no current economical connection between dogs and humans, but all species having its significant value. Now see point number 4, we can say that we have a moral duty to care for their well-being and pass on our biological legacy in good order to future generations. Okay, so it is one type of our biological legacy, and it should be understood by all of us. So in last paragraph, in this paragraph, we have only 4 points. So part number 3 is also completed. So see, again in first point we can say that humans are not alone on this earth, but so many millions of plants, animals and microbial species are there. Then according to philosophically or spiritually, we need to realize that every species having significance value, okay, even if it may not be of current or any economical value. And then we must understand about our biological legacy. Now we will understand this from your textbook. We can say that the ethical argument for conserving biodiversity relates to what we owe to millions of plant, animals and microbe species with whom we share this planet. Okay, next point, philosophically or spiritually, we need to realize that every species has an significant or intrinsic value, even if it may not be of current or any economic value to us. We have a moral duty to care for their well-being and pass it on our biological legacy in good order to future generation. Means we can pass this all in a same condition, good order, to our future generations. Okay, so part number 3 is also completed here. So this question is very interesting and also important. Okay, so this question is completed here. Thank you very much.